sometimes it seems that in order to create really cool chord progressions, you need to be a really advanced guitar player and use really complex chords. But I think that's wrong. Here is an example of the song that I'm just currently working on towards the release. The song is going to have right now the working title Beyond the Safe Paths, but it's basically based on really simple chord progression, and that verse part was actually based on the open chords, or the first chords that you are being able to play as a beginner guitar player. When I started to create this song, the main idea was to make something with drop A tuning, which I used with a 7-string guitar. And these chords work really fine with a 6-string guitar as well. So here's what I decided to use for this verse part of the song. So I started the chord progression with the A minor that I spiced up a little bit. I played from the 4th fret of the G string the B note, which is like at 9 note, and that adds a little bit extra color to that chord that I really wanted to have. There is a little bit like mystique with that chord, in my opinion, and kind of like a melancholy at the same time. And then I wanted to use open strings too, because I think they're a really nice way to color these chords as well, and it starts to sound a little bit more advanced, even though you don't really have to know what you are playing. So I took the G major chord, but in order to play like with the bar chord, that is also quite simple way to play once you get to know guitar. But in order to make that even more interesting, I left the 2 highest strings, the B string and E string, open, and then played the whole 6-string chord that way. So the only things that I fretted was the first 4 strings. And then I wanted to have like a downward movement and keep it that way. So I just moved this chord shape 2 frets lower to F, and this is like F major 7 sharp 11 chord. So it's a really nice chord with a lot of like mystique inside of it. And in order to keep it even more interesting, I went towards the E minor chord and then spiced it up with the at 9 type of like a chord voicing to add a little bit more spice at the end of the chord progression. So here I have like the E minor chord. Then we have to create it as a E minor 7 first in order to understand like how to have this like 9th note here. So I played the 3rd fret on the B string, or that's what I added here. And now we need the 9th note, which is in the 4th fret of the D string. So the whole chord sounds like this. That is quite beautiful in my opinion. So that's the way how I wanted to this chord progression sound like, because like with this voicing it makes more sense compared to without the D on the B string. So if I compare these 2 chords together, it sounds like. And now without fretting the B string here, with a little bit less notes here. So here's the other option that I thought as a useful variation, but I didn't like it. That is nice, but my intuition didn't go towards that route here. So that's basically how I got into using this chord progression. I have to say that the effects as well inspired me to create this chord progression, because once the delay and reverb does the job together, it forces me to just enjoy the chords as a long notes and let the effects do the job. And I can just enjoy these huge sounding chords. So what I have here is from Kemper, the delay, which alone sounds like this. So it's kind of like let me see what it's saying. It's like a dual delay type of thing, and then I have reverb that is called Aftermath, and it has been like a huge tool for me to use as an inspiration. So the reverb alone sounds like this. So I think here the delay is doing a lot more job between these two effects. And in order to keep things even more interesting, I wanted to have another guitar track that is on here on the higher register with a little bit distortion. So I just added like a tube screamer pedal on my Kemper profiler, and it's basically the sound alone is like this. So there's a little bit distortion here. The influence for using this type of guitar sound came from Matt Heafy's solo project Ibaraki, and I think it was the song called Ronin that was having, it starts right away with vocals, but at the same time it's having this this I think finger picked or hybrid picked or even just picked arpeggiated chord. I just wanted to keep it as a stable chord and then let the bass note move here. Like this. So I thought it was a really cool way to have like another type of like approach to having, I don't know, maybe that gives an additional approach to the harmony or the chords as well. And I think the pattern goes something like this. So that's basically how I created the verse part of the song Beyond the Safe Path. Once I created this chord progression, I wrote riffs on with this chord progression, but that is again like a video of its own. So that's basically like how the next song is going to start and what things I considered guitar-wise once I started building that song. So basically just open string based chords with a little bit more like ambience sound that I blended together, having like this. But then again having like the descending chords as well here. In order to have a really interesting guitar line. So that's basically how this part of the song has been built. I hope you'll enjoy this and hopefully see you on the next one. Bye.